everyone! Welcome back to Skyrim in Spanish. I'm your host, Ryan Sierra, and now my character's all like happy. That was funny.
Oh, he's about to get jumped.
Hello?
He's about to get jumped.
Oh, Talsgar apparently is like a really powerful bard, which is just so hilarious. Like, you know, this dude runs around, he, you know, sings the songs of heroes and warriors, and then bandits jump his ass, and he's like, picked a bad day to get lost, friend, to the bandits. A bandidos. And, he's a force to be reckoned with. Let's see, now do I wanna... Am I trying to go up here? Why am I being called right now? Oh. This was the way I was supposed to go before. I wonder what Bleak Falls Barrow was called in España. Espanol. Oh, a wolf! This is a cute little preview of how High Hrothgar is like. Well, it's just... Buscar Loco.
Oh, no, okay.
Was that like leather or something?
Yeah, it's leather. What was that? What was the berry?
Oh, here. Ingredientes.
It looks like cranberries.
Oh. Sinforicarpos.
Alright, hold up.
Sinforicarpos.
I'm gonna go to my Captain Deputy Translator. I'm gonna need that again.
Sinforicarpos. Living in a studio.
Oh, it didn't. I think whatever.
Well, then maybe it's like maybe it's like some weird Latin, like, you know, classification, taxonomy word.
Well, because I don't think I looked at it long enough.
It's Sinforicarpos.
I know.
Sin, S-I-N, F-O-R-I, Fori, Sinfori, C-A-R, car, P-O-S, pos, Sinforicarpos.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look it up just as a word at all, does it say anything? Like, forget about translating it into Spanish, but like, does it mean something? What's its like taxonomic meaning then?
It's a coral berry.
It's a what berry?
Coral.
A coral berry. Interesting.
Higher classification is snowberry.
Oh, it's a snowberry. It's snowberries. Okay. That's. Oh, I'm getting fucked.
What it is.
Ow!
Bias to negative.
You're muted right now, silly, and I am dying.
Yeah, that's telling you. That's why I didn't. That's why you couldn't translate. Because it was going by its Latin name.
Got his ass. You're muted. Bandido. God they ass. Don't be freaking around with me, dude.
So the reason why a Spanish dictionary couldn't translate it is because it was going by its Latin name in Skyrim. Because it's actually classified as a snowberry. Or a coral berry. And so, is it poisonous? It's not recommended because it can contain sapien, a chemical that can be toxic in large amounts. So please do not eat if you see a coral berry, aka a snowberry.
That feels like a weasel word to me. A chemical that can be toxic in large amounts. Like,
Many plants contain this toxin, even some edible species in the pea family. But the concentration of sapien in coral berry makes them taste quite bitter and unpalatable. So, like, it's bad news bears.
sweet.
They are... All parts of the coral bells are safe and non-toxic to dogs. If dogs eat a large amount,
Shit.
though, they might experience an upset stomach, but the plant parts...
Yeah, Fendel, I'm saying. Got her ass.
Alright, do you want to hear 8 huge movie franchises with 0 good movies?
What?
The title is 8 huge movie franchises with 0 good movies.
Oh damn, this is a roast session. Alright, bring on the
Alright.
fuego.
Alright, number 8, I guess.
Yeah.
Number 8 is Step Up. The Step Up movie series began in 2006 with its best outing, as the original benefited from the incredible chemistry between Channing Tatum and Jenna Dewan. However, the undeniability. Sorry, had a bit of a dyslexic moment here.
That's one of those words that's always like slightly different in every language.
Because I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's undeniability, but I'm coming out it like differently, and it's very hard. Impressive choreography that the pair shared was one of Step Up's only saving graces. Apart from the acting as early evidence of Channing Tatum's movie star potential, Step Up had few redeeming features. Its plot was comical and cliched, and the movie's attempts to match the downbeat, gritty tone of 8 Mile were laughable. Despite this, Step Up received 5 sequels and TV spin-offs that lasted 3 seasons, while the franchise earned over $500 million in the box office. Alright, number 7. Leprechaun. The original Leprechaun from 1993 is notable for featuring a pre-Friends Jennifer Aniston as its heroine, and not a lot else. A corny horror comedy that's too silly to be scary, but not funny enough to work as a straight-up comedy, Leprechaun falls into an inevitable tonal gap that dragged down many films of the genre. Despite this, the slasher was a success, earning about $8 million on a budget of $1 million. Earning over $8 million on a budget of $1 million. As a result, Leprechaun earned 5 direct sequels and 2 reboots. One of these many follow-ups, only the 2018 sequel Leprechaun Returns, is worth a watch, and even then it doesn't qualify as quote good. Alright, number 6. What do you think it is?
What do I think number 6 is on this
Yep.
very arbitrary list?
Yep.
I mean, not that I'm a fan of Leprechaun, but I have no. What is a bad movie series?
Children of the Corn. It's Stephen
Oh, is it
King's
just
short
doing
story.
horror?
Some of them are horror.
You know,
Some of-
Step Up is a total horror classic.
Oh yeah, totally, yeah. The Stephen King short story Children of the Corn managed to write a surprising number of scares out of its simple setup where a bickering couple gets lost in an abandoned ghost town and discovers the inhabitants have been killed by their own children. And the 1984 movie adaptation was not so fortunate, with the eponymous threat. There was more comical than scary. Despite this, Children of the Corn managed to rack up no less than 10 follow-ups. These included 8 direct sequels, 1 TV show remake, or 1 TV remake in 2009, and 1 notoriously delayed 2023 prequel, all which failed to find any scares. Alright, number 5. What do you think number 5 is going to be?
God.
Think
See, 'cause
think
this
of
is a
ones
lot
that
of
people
movie
don't.
series from the 2000s is what it is. You know.
Well, this next one should be think of series where people were like, this is bad.
I mean,
You know,
people didn't
those-
like the prequels, the Star Wars prequels for a little bit.
Close, it's 50 Shades. The Twilight series gets a lot of flack from critics, but both 2008's Twilight and 2010's Twilight Eclipse ensure that the franchise doesn't qualify for this list, as it should. It deserves its flowers. The same can be said for the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy, which infamously is based on Twilight fan fiction that became a publishing sensation. 50 Shades of Grey movies were corny, embarrassing, self-serious, and devoid of humor. However, none of this would matter if the erotic romance trilogy was sexy. Instead, the 50 Shades of Grey movies were as hot as ice, and they were critically lambasted as a latter comparable franchises, Netflix 365 Days movies. All right. You want to guess what number 4 is?
I don't want to guess what number 4 is. At this point, you're just like goading me, like, because I don't know a lot of these, like. Yeah, I don't know a lot of these like bad 2000s movie series because I guess if they were bad, I just never really, went out to see them. Oh shit in my balls. All right. I think actually, the Night at the Museum with Ben Stiller. People did not like Night at the Museum with Ben Stiller. Gosh, shit! It's like I'm fighting Draugr Deathlords at level 4 here.
Well, I like Night at the Museum.
I recall
really
people
like
didn't
history.
like Night at the Museum. Like a lot of like the I recall the people, because like I grew up on a lot of the very obviously like National Treasure, Night at the Museum, Undercover Brother, Austin Powers, these kinds of movies, movie series, and so like I never thought any of them were bad. I know people didn't like the 3rd installment. I'm sorry, what? In Inquieto right away. Jeez. But yeah. What would you say? I remember, like, and you're asking for movie series too. I don't really recall any movie series. Oh, like I recall individual movies. Like for instance, people did not like Son of the Mask with Jamie Kennedy. People did. There was this one like soccer movie with Will Ferrell called Kicking and Screaming. That was a very forgettable movie. There's there's a lot of these like movies that like kind of come and go, and that are like they feel like it feels like Hollywood has like a use it or lose it mentality. Because movies will be made with this like sense of like it feels like it was made with like leftover money, and it wasn't made to like have as much of an impact necessarily as much as it was to like just be like a funny movie. That's kind of how I feel about Office Party with that one dude from Deadpool, or it was like Office Summer Party or something, Christmas Party. And then, like, I remember there was, like, that stint in the mid-2000s and late 2000s where people constantly wanted to make, like, Garfield live actions, and every movie was the same kind of plot. It was, there's a, there's a corrupt pound keeper. My cat got out of the house, and the pound keeper just took him. And the cat and Garfield and Otis and their respective owners have to from different angles figure out how to get their pets back. Those I remember actually they even came out with like Garfield cards that you could play with, because and it's so weird to think about it, but like back then like the Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, TCG craze was so huge because there was this sense that you could even find Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the middle of a grocery store, and now they don't do that. Why the timpani? Why the timpani? The timpani makes it sound awful. It smells noodle. But go down your list and just tell me the list. Just tell me the list.
So, alright, so I have thoughts before I go down the list. So the reason why I asked you series is because, like, they talked about, like, people were like, oh, Twilight was so bad, or this is so bad. So
but people saying like, Twilight was bad, I always felt like we're a little contrarian. Like, I think we talked about this the other day, where, like, a lot of the hate of Twilight was just hating on, like,
teenage girls.
Yeah.
Any, it was very misogynistic, and I think it's still behavior being taught with different ways. Anyways, number 4 is Fantastic Four.
With Chris Evans?
Or
Or Miles Teller?
I think so. Hold on. Yeah, it's the one with Miles Teller.
Oh yeah.
And Chris Evans.
Oh.
But I like the ones with Chris Evans.
Mhm.
Anyway, Resident Evil.
Hey yo, ma.
So, apparently it's going, a horror game, video game adaptation seems like a better shot at keeping fans happy than other genres. This doesn't always hold true. 2000 film Resident Evil is highly anticipated thanks to popularity of the game, but it inexplicably strayed from the source to establish story at numerous critical moments. This didn't hurt the box office performance, as the franchise became a massive financial success. This ensured 5 follow-ups from its producer and a reboot in 2021, none of which kept fans happy despite how much zombie-like franchise stubbornly refused to die.
What was it?
Resident Evil.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Alright, this I don't agree with. This next one I don't agree with because there are several good movies in Underworld. But this is number 2, Underworld. The Underworld movies had an appealing, simple premise. The series follows Kate Beckinsale's icy cool Celine, a vampire assassin caught up in the centuries-old war between vampires and werewolves. However, as the weaker Twilight sequels proved, even vampires fighting werewolves can be boring. Underworld and its 4 sequels repeatedly provided evidence of this Beckinsale's beautiful but bland heroine stomped her way through the endless, over-edited suspensory set pieces. While Underworld had a lot of potential, this alone did not stop the series from failing to live up to its premise with each new sequel. Well, I bet you this man's like fantastic. Not fan. Fast and Furious movies are a delight.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the first one is Fantastic Beasts, which that makes sense.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that those, went as far as they did.
It's so weird. Cause it's like, I can understand the other one, but like, Underworld, you feel like, there's not one good movie, yet it had 5 sequels, it had 8 follow-ups, what do you mean? Obviously it was good enough for it to get that amount, someone must have liked it.
Yeah, it's very strange how that works, man, like, because, at the end of the day, like, money could either go low quantity, high quality, or, low quality, high quantity, because there's lots of ways in which things hit up what are called monopsonies, which are like when you get like a select crowd that just pays out the wazoo versus like a bunch of people that will pay a kind of spread across surcharge, and so it's like I wonder if it was if it was a cult following that just paid a lot for it. Whales, as they call them.
Well, I think it's interesting when, like obviously every movie franchise is not going to have everyone loving it. Like, you're going to have some haters, you're going to have some lovers, and then you're going to have some people who will be like, I would watch, but not watch 2 to 3 times, And so I think it's weird how he's like, obviously, this is no good sequel. Anyway, that's 10 follow-ups. It has a prequel TV show. It has this, and I'm like, obviously there were fans who liked it. Like, you're acting like everyone was like, you know what, this is awful. Because it was that awful, no amount of money would make people want to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, But also, here's a cool thing, is people want Henry Cavill to be in the Silmarillion, which is a prequel, if anyone would like to know.
Silmarillion, I think. It's Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I pronounce.
Okay.
And I will fight everyone on that pronunciation.
I'm surprised you don't want to translate this Draugr in Kieto, because he's a restless Draugr.
Alright, hold on.
He's not being quiet.
Hold on, let me translate.
Yeah.
Okay, what is it? Draugr. How do you spell Draugr?
So here, look, right there.
Okay.
Oh yeah, baby girl. Oh.
Oh, there's no A. There's just Draugr. And
Inquieto.
So like quiet, but
yeah.
Restless Roger. Yep, you're right.
Yep.
So people want Henry Cavill to be in the Silmarillion. And they did an AI version, like, picture of, like, him in it. And, you know, it's quite convincing image, but it's an AI-generated thing of him, who he could be him to pursue Morgoth until killing blows landed on the second king of Gondor by Guthmog, the Lord of the Balrogs. I hope J.R. Tolkien is very happy with how I pronounced that.
He is not. No, the Balrogs? Yeah, that's an okay.
Balrogs, Mordor. I pronounce those. Probably not the Silmarillion, but the name he's probably very happy with. Like, that's what I want my actors to say. They always do this cheap shit. They don't roll their R's. They're terrible.
Where is Fendel?
But I think he would be good in a prequel. I think he would be good in Rings of Power. Like, I know people are upset that he's leaving Witcher, but I'm like, now he can do other fantasy series. Like, now he can be in, like, Star Trek, Star Wars. He can be in, like, Rings of Power. He's in Warhammer. He can do all these different things that he seems to be very fond of.
Yeah, I never thought... I mean, like... Oh, God.
Oh, God.
The flames did nothing.
I mean, me myself don't echo.
Let me get rid of that. Oh, jeez. Danyo. I never necessarily... Jesus! Alright, well, if you'd let me move. Alright. What is there, like 3 of them around me now? Oh, yeah. Get out of the way. I know you're trying to kill me and surround me, but that's very rude. Muy disrespecto. Alright, we'll save. Ow. And level 5, here we come. Oh shit! There we go. I forget what I was about to say. Hoorah! No, you're muted. You're muted. She's muted. Guys, apparently Small Zoodle's like trying to say something to me, but she's like muted, so I don't know. I can't hear her.
No, because then you'll talk and it'll echo and you'll get mad.
I don't get mad. What do you mean? Guys, she's muted. I don't know what she's saying. So I can't hear her. Oh, this is spooky. Because it's our first time to like see like the dragon priest. Yo, dude, that's a fucking bionicle, dude. Bionicles. Yo, this was the set where like the Toa found the 7th Toa, dude, Takanuva. Because I talk a lot of... Let's see, it would be in Varios, I think. And oh, yep. Gata Dorada. So bear, butterfly, owl. Alright, well it's not on any of those. Bear, butterfly, owl. Oh, yep, this is where we fight the final boss.
You're talking about Henry Cavill.
Oh my god, Diana just came back! Henry Cavill, Lord of the Rings. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So, I feel like, I don't know, man, like, I thought Henry Cavill was fine. I thought he was cool. I wish there was more media for it, for him being, Superman. Because I didn't necessarily like anyone else over him. I thought he was fine. my Supermans are weird. I didn't grow up on whatever. I didn't grow up on Brandon Roth or Christopher Reeves. I grew up on see, here's a secret chest. I grew up on Lois and Clark, and then of course DC animated stuff, and so Cavill came at a time when it was just right on time, I guess, and I was kind of growing up. And I thought Cavill acted Superman well, and I thought the movies were emotionally compelling. The first one with Zod, but Superman changes hands so much, and so I was, like right now we're gonna get Jack Quaid from The Boys in a Superman show. And that is so crazy. And then, of course, CW had that one guy. What's that? What's the one actor's name in the CW that now does the Superman show where he has the kids?
Ira Hoffman.
Because, is he? He looks a little Hispanic to me, but I don't know.
He's like German, Dutch, whatever.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, and he's sort of the Superman right now. And these are roles that change actors so much, and because they just don't like their own continuity. I don't know. And so it'll be cool to see Henry Cavill in something that he's consistent in, and that he really likes, and that he can have a lot more, maybe creative control over. Because at the very least, no one liked the creative control that Hisrich has over Witcher. So, like all of the comments on the Witcher Netflix TikTok, oh, they're horrid. They're so mean. Like they're just like, I'm not gonna be watching this. This is dumb. This is stupid. Henry's not gonna be in it. This is awful. Just reminding me of another show I'm not gonna watch.
Well, I think it's also interesting where this.
I think one of the things though is I do want to clarify. I think that the Witcher Netflix is bad not because they're getting rid of Henry Cavill, although that's a byproduct. What it is though is they went off script so hard in season 2, and then that seemed to lead to a lot of discrepancy with creative control. So anyway, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that a lot of I think the thing is like what Henry Cavill leaving brings is discussion of what happens when a really popular series has main characters leave. And you have this with the Vampire Diaries when Nina Dobrev left. Her character had to be put into a coma as the explanation to why Elena wasn't there anymore.
Oh wow.
You had like Grey's Anatomy, tons of main characters left, and I think this whole discussion of Henry Cavill leaving, especially when he is the titular character, I think brings a part of like, also I think fans very stubborn, like inability to like understand that, hey, he might have just wanted to do other things. He might have not wanted to be stuck as Geralt for like 6 to 10 years and not be able to do anything else. Because I don't think people understand what happens when you commit to a TV series. I suggest listening to Talkville, which stars Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling. And Tom Welling did Superman for like a decade. And I remember him talking about the fact that like he was like he felt stuck. He felt like he couldn't do anything else. He felt like he was tied to the series, and he felt very stuck with it. And he said people don't understand what it's like to be locked in these contracts. To be able, to be in those things. And So, and Michael Rosenbaum asked him, he's like, if this opportunity came now and not earlier, would you do it? And he said no, because it took something from me. It took 10 years of my life. And I don't think people understand that. I don't, you know, because we're like, oh my god, a character we love is on screen. But try doing that for 10 years and having to be on such a strict schedule and having to be like, oh, I have to be out of these episodes for about 4 episodes so I can go film a movie. You know, so I can, like, you know, people don't understand what it's like to be locked in there.
Oh. So anyway, Matthew McConaughey had another beautiful child.
Oh no, his child joined social media. That's what it was. I was like, so like it announced the birth, and I'm like, what? And it's like, no, he just apparently had a birthday.
Headlines are just getting worse.
They're getting worse. I was very confused. So I clicked on it and I was like, oh no, he gets permission to join social media on his 15th birthday. And I was like, oh, why did you word it like he had another kid?
Right.
No, but what I was saying is like, I think, you know, because there's this conspiracy that Henry Cavill left due to the poor writing. And I'm thinking if that's the case, he wouldn't have started on season 3. You know, like if it truly was a case of bad writing, he would have left before season 3 started. You know, like if you felt that truly passionate for it, he would have been like, hey guys, unfortunately, you know, the production team and I are not getting along, no hard feelings, I'm heading out, and we would never have gotten season 3. Because I think he had a clause, but he got out, because he just wanted to do other stuff. So that's my thing, is like, if he didn't like it, he wouldn't have filmed season 3. He wouldn't have even really filmed season 2. Like, because he has enough money, he can break a clause. You know, he can break a contract. He's not that strapped for cash, you know?
I wonder how royalties work, you know?
You get a check in the mail for stuff. I've heard a couple of actors talk about it. You get like a check, and they like mail it to you and stuff. But like he's not that strapped for cash. He did The Tutor, he did Man of Steel, he's done Mission Impossible. Like the man's been in shit. He's not strapped for cash, so he can afford to break a contract, you know?
Hey, Fendel.
What's up, Fendel?
Yeah.
I don't have any.
Well, I meant not how the delivery process works or the processing process works, but more so like, you know, how does the commissioning of it all work? Like, is it like, oh, every time someone buys Man of Steel from Redbox, you know, I get $2, you know?
Yeah, it's probably something like that. Something probably very similar. Because people used to say royalty checks were bar money. A lot of people would pay like their bar tab with royalty checks.
Yeah.
But I assume it's something like that. Like, you know, with authors, you get royalties from every book sale, every Kindle buy, you know?
Every Kindle buy.
But yeah, I think if he truly did not care for the content, I think he would have gotten the script for season 2 and would have been like, hey guys, like, I'm not doing this. This is not, you know, because he's a big name in Hollywood. They would have changed it. You know, they would have reworked the script. So I think if the conspiracy about him leaving due to poor writing, I don't think that's the case. Because several actors have left things where they didn't like the writing.
But now, how do you think they might have withheld information about the script until too late or later? Or?
No, you usually get scripts in the very beginning. You'll get,
because
like,
you know how like Jon Snow, like when Jon Snow would have killed Daenerys, like Kit Harington and Amelia Clarke didn't find out until like fairly recently. Right, there's like a clip where they're like crying as they're trying to do a read-through of it.
Yeah, no, that's probably they didn't give the scripts until later, or they made. So sometimes scripts go through changes, and you don't know. I mean, Michael Rosenbaum's talked about it, where he was like, you know, they changed something, and I had to read, you know, because he only read scripts that really involved him and his character, which makes sense. And so sometimes he'd be like, hey, you changed this. I think that because Henry is so passionate about Witcher, he would have asked ahead of time. I feel like he would have asked to see the scripts. I think he would have gotten like 2 to 3 scripts each time, because there's only what, like 8 episodes, you know? And so it's not that, but like, hey, can I, whatever. Or he would have asked the writers. He's a big name in Hollywood. I think people forget that. Because everyone wants Henry Cavill. I'm sure if he asked for the scripts for season 2, they would have given him the scripts for season 2.
Hola, amigos. More like amigoose. Goose goose. My couscous is cooked.
My goose is cooked. Anyways, yeah, I think that Henry Cavill probably liked what was going on. I think he might have had a few gripes, but he could have fixed them. He's not unknown. They would have changed things for him. So I think the whole conspiracy of, well, he didn't like it, so he left. I think he wanted to pursue Warhammer. Because look how fast he dropped that news after it was announced he left.
Yeah.
It was literally the very next day. So it's like, I think he wanted to do other stuff and didn't want to be doing Geralt, or wanted to do, he probably was like, okay, Warhammer's coming out and The Witcher, I don't know if I can do both at the same time. And that's a hard thing to look at and admit, I can't do both at the same time. And so I think he wanted to do Warhammer more than he wanted to do Witcher. And I think he left for that, to pursue that dream, and then to maybe, if the role would have still been held open, do a couple episodes as Geralt, but have the story be mainly Jaskier, Ciri, Yennefer, with very few episodes with him. If he wanted to still do Witcher and Warhammer, but I think he left for more opportunities, because he's been nothing but nice with Liam. He's been nothing but, like, great, and I know that's professionalism, but I also think that he's not been shady, he's not been, like, upset, because when actors are upset, actors have come out upset. You can tell when things are shady, and he generally, he's like, I'll watch when Liam's on screen. And so, I think there's no hard feelings. I think he just wanted to do Warhammer, honestly.
Well, I don't think anyone thought that he had hard feelings with Liam. I thought that was the passing of the torch thing that was just fine. I thought it was an issue with the creative writing of the show.
Well, people thought Liam, is stealing, or he'll never be as good as Henry. It's like, he may not be. But, he hasn't even acted. Give him 1 season. Give him 1 season as Geralt, and if he's not good, then he's not good. But you don't know until you give him 1 season. We didn't know if Henry would have been good as Witcher. We gave him 1 season,
It'll be so interesting to see how Liam looks in the Witcher getup, because, I mean, and like, how are they going to work that in? I wonder, like, there's kind of 3 options, right? Either it's some sort of weird, like, prequel, or it's a matter of he gets hit in the face with a look-changing potion, or they just have him that done up to still look like, very gruff and, dimpled and scarred like Geralt, like Henry Cavill's Geralt. So it's got to be something like that.
I read an article about it, and they're actually not going to do anything. They're actually just going to seamlessly transition. Because apparently he fights with Vilgefortz. And people were like, oh, are they going to, like, disfigure him, and then he heals and it's Liam. And people are like, no, we don't think he's going to do that.
There we go. Okay.
And sorry, the game was loading, so I didn't know if it was gonna cut me off. I actually think that's better than addressing it. Because then we're not spending 5 episodes of, oh my god, you're healed, but you look different. It's like, just go with it. Just,
You don't want them to lampshade it?
yeah, it's like, they'll spend like 5 episodes on
The
it.
fuck?
Oh my god, why does he jump like that? You know what I mean? Like, they'll spend 5 episodes on the face change.
Yeah.
I'll be very happy if they don't mention it. Because it'll be a lot easier to deal with it than for me to sit there and hear, oh my god, he got disfigured.
So I'm imagining, well, that was part of my Trinity. Like, I think that they're just gonna do him up as much as possible, you know?